Welcome to Bertina's Spiritual Sanctuary, where we explore spiritual practices, traditions, and wisdom from around the world. In today's episode, we'll delve into Imbolc, a sacred festival that marks the midpoint between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. We want to know what it is, where did it originate, what goddesses are associated with it, and how can we celebrate it today? We're going to answer these questions and more as we journey into the vibrant and ancient celebration. So go ahead and grab a journal or a notebook, relax, maybe your coffee, and let's have our weekly conversation. So what is Imbolc? It's a vibrant and deeply symbolic festival that's been celebrated for centuries. It's a time of transition and a time of hope. It marks the midpoint between the darkest day of the winter and the bright promise of spring. It symbolizes renewal, transformation, and the stirrings of life returning to earth. There's a couple of key themes that go with Imbolc, and it connects a lot with the winter solstice and with the winter. As we're experiencing snow today, it's just a beautiful time to really celebrate this turning of the seasons. One of the key themes is light and warmth. As the days gradually grow longer after the winter solstice, Imbolc honors the increasing light. It's a celebration of hope, a celebration of warmth, and as the darkness begins to recede, we notice that there is a time for new beginnings. It represents a time of preparation and potential. Just as seeds lie dormant in the earth before bursting into growth, this is a time to plant the seeds of our intentions for your year ahead. It's nature's awakening. The natural world begins to show signs of renewal. Early spring flowers like snowdrops break through the frost and just end up pregnating during this time. It signifies fertility, and it signifies the cycle of life. Now, the word Imbolc is derived from the Old Irish Imbolc, I-M-B-O-L-G, which means in the belly. This refers to the pregnancy of ewes, E-W-E-S, a significant event for agricultural communities. In ancient times, the birth of lambs and the lactation of ewes were crucial signs of fertility and sustenance. The connection to the cycles of nature underscores Imbolc's themes of life and renewal. It's not only a celebration of physical renewal in nature, but it's also a time for personal and spiritual transformation. It's an opportunity to reflect on the darkness of winter, the lessons that winter has brought you, prepare for the growth and possibility of spring, and set intentions and release anything that no longer serves you. Some of the symbols are very simple. Firing candles. Fire represents light, warmth, and purification. Candles are often lit during Imbolc rituals to symbolize the return of the sun and the growing days. Milk and dairy are very important too because it reflects the fertility of the ewes and the nourishment that they provide. Dairy products are traditional during this time. Flowers like snowdrops, known as the flower of hope, are iconic symbols, and they are among the first to bloom, often breaking through the frost. But why is it important to celebrate this time of year? It's a reminder of the cyclic nature of life and the promise of renewal. It invites us to embrace the transitions in our lives, to honor the quiet period of reflection, and to move forward with hope and intention. By aligning with the rhythms of nature, we connect to the deeper sense of purpose and belonging. But where did it originate? We talked about that it's deeply rooted in some Celtic traditions, and that it's celebrated primarily in Ireland, Scotland, and the Celtic regions. Its origins lie in the agricultural and spiritual practices of early Celtic peoples, and they observed the rhythms of natures and cycles. So, the Celts, recognized the importance of marking seasonal transitions, as these changes dictated the rhythms of planting, harvesting, and survival. Imbolc is one of the 4 major Celtic fire festivals, along with Beltane. I can never pronounce this word, Lughnasadh, Lughnasadh, and Samhain, marking the turning points of the agricultural year. If you live in a rural area in the South, more than likely you understand the seasonal changes. We have the Farmer's Almanac, which aligns with these festivals. There's times when you plant, there's times when you sow, there's times when you harvest, there's times when you work on your agricultural animals, sterilizing them, giving them shots, doing surgeries. And it's just really a time of helping your culture to be successful and to survive. Imbolc was also a time to honor the first stirrings of spring. It's a season, as I said, associated with fertility and renewal. So the pregnancy and the promise of lambs played a vital role in the agrarian life. This symbolized abundance. This symbolized new life because the harshness of winter was really, really hard for the people. Some people didn't survive the winter. So if you could see that nature was bringing in the fertility and the love that it could offer, you felt as if you were abundant and blessed. There's a few spiritual and ritual practices we'll get into. We'll get into more a little bit later. But I just wanted you to think about the fact that when they celebrated this holiday, it was with rituals to honor the land. They needed to encourage fertility, and then they also needed protection for crops and livestock because plagues would hit, droughts would hit. So they would focus a lot on fire and offerings and purification ceremonies because they wanted to be able to survive. Bonfires and hearth fires were lit as a symbol of warmth and the growing power of the sun. These fires were also protective, and it was also purifying, warding off negativity, but then also getting rid of any types of bugs or things like that. The smoke would help ensure that there was prosperity for the food for the year ahead. They also believed that they would offer blessings or give offerings to Brigid. A lot of times that was food and drink and symbolic items. We are going to talk about her a little bit later in more extension, so hold on to that thought there. But I do want to talk about the fact that when Christianity spread through the Celtic regions, that many pagan festivals were adopted and adapted and incorporated into Christian practices. Imbolc became associated with Candlemas, which is a Christian feast celebrated on February 2nd, marking the purification of the Virgin Mary and the presentation of Jesus at the temple. The focus on candles and light in Candlemas parallels with the light and the fire themes of Imbolc, making it easier to integrate the two traditions. Whenever one culture would take over another culture, it was a lot easier for being taken over, less of a fighting back whenever they would integrate the two traditions. So, like Brigid, she was changed into Saint Brigid of Kildare, one of Ireland's patron saints, through the church. And Saint Brigid's feast day on February 1st overlaps with Imbolc, so it preserved a lot of the festival's customs in a Christianized form. But there was a lot of preservation of pagan themes. Despite the Christianization of Imbolc, its pagan essence remains visible in modern celebrations. Many of the original themes, like light, fertility, renewal, and the awakening of the earth, continue to resonate. Imbolc's seen a revival among contemporary pagans, Wiccans, and others who honor the cycle of nature. There's always a lot of community gathering, an opportunity for communities to come together. It's the coldest part of the year. And when you come together, you're celebrating survival, but you're also sharing resources, and then you're trying to bring in blessings for the future. The festival also reflects the Celts' connection to the land and their deep understanding of seasonal shifts, which shape their spiritual and practical lives. Today, this heritage as a festival of light, hope, and renewal continues to inspire the modern spiritual practices. Sometimes it's celebrated as a cultural tradition or a spiritual holiday. It offers a meaningful way to honor the earth's cycles, and it connects with the promise of spring. So think about how there were different ways in order to adapt these into contemporary practices. This is a way of survival. But I want to talk about, go back to the pagan themes of the goddesses. Imbolc's deeply intertwined with the worship of Brigid, and it's one of the more prominent, she's one of the more prominent and beloved deities in Celtic mythology. In our area where I live in Kentucky, many people, especially where I'm from in Eastern Kentucky, many people are Scots, Irish, Celtic descendants, German descendants. And so the Celtic mythology is in our ancestors. Our ancestors more than likely celebrated the idea of Brigid. She embodied many of the qualities and domains that align perfectly with the themes of Imbolc: light, renewal, fertility, inspiration, and that's why she's associated with this. She was a triple goddess, meaning that she represents the three aspects of the divine femininity, the mother, the maiden, and the crone. However, in her case, her triple aspect focuses on her roles as the goddess of poetry, healing, and smithcraft, all connected to the transformative and creative power of fire. We always, most of the time, we think about Mother, Maiden, Crone, we think about Hecate, we think about other ones, and we think about it only being the triple goddess of those. But really, when you start looking at a lot of goddesses, they have triple aspects. All of us do. As goddesses, as the divine feminine, we have aspects of our lives that help us connect and transform and be creative with elements that we work with. So with Brigid, she's the goddess of the arts and creativity. And in Celtic traditions, poetry was not only an art form, but also a sacred act that could inspire, could heal, and even invoke the divine powers. The rituals that often include a lot of reciting the poetry, writing the poetry, honoring the inspiration, doing things to inspire you to write. People would get together and they would write poetry. Also, as a healer, she governs the life-giving forces of nature. Her association with fertility ties her to the pregnancy of livestock, particularly ewes, EWES, for those that aren't familiar. And that was a central symbol of this celebration. The festival often involved blessings for health and abundance, invoking Brigid's healing energies. She also had a strong connection to smith crafting. It shows her as a role of a bringer of transformation and creation. The forge's fire symbolizes her power to shape raw materials into tools, art, and even life itself, which, if you look up the poetry, the healing, the fertility, all of that together, and the transformation aspect resonates with Imbolc's themes of renewal and growth. So, as she's the goddess of fire and light, her essential elements in the celebration of Imbolc represents inspiration, warmth, and purification, where the light signifies the growing strength of the sun and the promise of spring. She's also has a connection to the hearth, which is deeply personal for a lot of Celtic families, and even people who today may not realize that they are carrying on Celtic traditions, because the hearth was the heart of the home. It provided warmth and light and sustenance. And think about right now, we are in a snowstorm, and more than likely people are in their front room together. Our heat is on. If you have a fireplace, you may have a fire going, but you're snuggled under blankets. You are maybe eating snacks or pizza. You may watch TV, but the point is that it's the heart of the home. It's providing warmth, it's providing hope, it's providing love. And a lot of times in the ancient times, they would honor Brigid by tending the hearth, lighting candles, making offerings to invite her protection. And how many of us use candles today just without thinking? We like the smell of it, but we don't think about the light that it brings, especially on days like today where, the dark comes really, really, really fast, early. Sometimes 4:30, so depending upon where you live. Now, she also is celebrated by people who like to craft her cross. Traditionally, it's woven from rushes or straw, and we're probably more familiar with straw here in Appalachia or in Kentucky or in the South. Brigid's cross is a protective talisman. Family would hang this cross in the homes to invoke her blessings and to ward off negativity. Candles, as I've said before, will help with rituals and offering to Brigid during this time. And creating an altar for her with symbols of fire and light, early spring flowers, her cross, any type of dairy or water really does help celebrate. It really does help honor her and to bring in the idea of Imbolc. Brigid's influence remains strong in today's paganism, Wicca, and other spiritual traditions. Many modern celebrations incorporate both ancient traditions and personalized rituals to honor her. These practices often emphasize creativity, healing, and connection. So, some people will do an invocation, which we will look at in a little bit. As after they ask her to come in, they may bring her in and meditate with her or do some creative activities such as writing, painting, or creating some of her crosses. And these are usually done to help with personal growth and health, but it also helps with the community celebrations. There'll be storytelling and music and everything around a fire. So Brigid's connection to Imbolc reflects her status as a goddess, a profound transformation and nurturing power. Her themes of light, creativity, and renewal resonate as strongly today as they did in ancient times. Whether she's a goddess to you or a Christian saint, she continues to inspire those who seek her blessings during this sacred festival and throughout the year. Now, when is Imbolc? We've talked about that one of the Christian holidays is on February the 2nd. Well, it depends upon where it falls in the midpoint between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. It's usually celebrated on February 1st or 2nd, and that timing reflects the focus on the transition. It is an easy way to celebrate. So this Friday or Saturday, whichever one you have time, light some candles. Create a candle, so like maybe white or yellow. They symbolize purity and sunlight. You can also use red or orange to represent warmth or fire. Set an intention. Before lighting each candle, take a moment to set an intention or to say a prayer. Focus on the themes of renewal, inspiration, and growth, and these will help symbolize the return of the light. You can create your own candle ritual, like lighting candles in a circle or placing them on your altar, and then arrange them in a spiral to symbolize the cycles of life. And you can also place some small objects such as crystals like citrine or clear crystal quartz are good for clarity, or flowers, especially, spring flowers. And then while you have all that in front of you, take time to meditate. Look at the candle, sit quietly, gaze into the flame, and visualize your hope. Visualize your intention for the coming season. Now you can also begin to decorate your home. Spring flowers, put candles, as I've said. Add objects that have personal meanings or align with your intentions for spring. Now, if you prefer prayers or meditations to Brigid, there's a couple of things that you can do. It's a time to honor her with poetry, healing, and smithcraft. So write a poem. Maybe write a prayer. An example would to be to speak to Brigid's quality and then your personal intentions. For example, like Brigid, goddess of the fire and renewal, I honor your light as it returns to the earth. Bless me with the inspiration, healing, and the courage to grow. You can speak this aloud. You can do it to yourself, quietly to yourself, just focusing on the connection of her and the energies. You can also do a meditation. Just create a little quiet space. It can be on your couch. It can be anywhere you like. And it would be nice if you could have like maybe a candle or something near you. Begin to focus on your breath and close your eyes and just breathe deeply. Visualizing the warmth of returning sun each time you breathe in warmth. Each time you exhale, let go of the cold. Imagine renewal. Picture the earth stirring beneath the frost. Look outside at the snow and just think about all the little animals in hibernation, the plants and seeds underneath, and all the little buds forming, the seeds sprouting, and the promise of spring. And then reflect on how these things apply to your personal life. You can ask for guidance, for inspiration to help, clarify your creative endeavors. A couple of other things you can do is create the Brigid's cross. It's easy. You can Google it. All you have to do is just take straw or rushes and just make it into a cross. It's a talisman. It's protection. One of the things that I've been doing is cleansing the space. I've been clearing out the rooms, getting rid of things that I don't need, smudging, more sprinkling water because I'm a water priestess. I will use water with blessed herbs in different ways. And those are my favorite things. You can plant seeds. I am not good with this aspect. I'm not good with gardening. I don't have a green thumb. And the last one, too, I'm not good with cooking. But cooking traditional foods is something that a lot of people like to do. So if you want to prepare dishes, you can use anything with dairy, oats, any type of warming spices or agricultural roots that happen. These other foods are like milk-based soups or stews, like creamy potato soup is one that a lot of people tend to like. Milk and potatoes and the herbs really symbolize the grounding and sustenance, while milk, ties together the theme of fertility. Vegetable chowder is a rich, creamy soup with seasonal root vegetables like carrots and parsnips and turnips, and it brings a connection to the earth. Cheese and herb soup, which I do like, have thyme and parsley, and it aligns with Brigid's connection to healing and abundance. A lot of people like to make oat cakes or soda bread. If you want to Google those are really interesting little cakes. I love bread, so any type of bread I will eat. Some herbal teas that people like to use to celebrate is cinnamon and ginger tea, or chamomile and honey tea, or mint and lemon balm. All of those are wonderful. I have a blog that it's on bertina.org that will have these recipes, that will have purification rituals, that will have more ritual ideas for you. So if you want to go there and read a lot more about these, like there's step-by-steps on setting intentions, on creating altars, and even blessings. Like a sample blessing is, may the light of Brigid shine upon me, guiding my steps as the seasons turn. May my home be warm, my heart inspired, and my path filled with growth and renewal. Now, Imbolc rituals are opportunities to connect with the ancient traditions, and they honor the cycle of natures. As we said before, it helps bring clarity and protection. Okay. Imbolc is more than just a festival. It's a sacred reminder of the cycles of life and ever-present promise of renewal. It encourages us to pause, reflect, and honor the delicate balance between the quiet dormancy of winter and the vibrant awakening of spring. As the earth begins to stir, so too can we rekindle our own inner light, embracing the opportunities for growth, transformation, and inspiration. Whether you choose to celebrate by lighting a single candle, preparing a meal infused with intention, crafting a Brigid's cross, or meditating on your hopes for the coming year, Imbolc offers a meaningful way to connect with both the natural world and your inner self. These practices are not only acts of tradition, but they're also acts of love and even self-care for yourself and love for the universe around you. By honoring Imbolc, you tap into a timeless tradition that celebrates life cycles, it encourages gratitude for the present, and inspires hope for the future. It reminds us that even in the darkest moments, the light is always returning, bringing with it warmth, clarity, and the promise of new beginnings. I want to thank you for joining me through this history, traditions, and significance discussion of Imbolc here on Bertina's Spiritual Sanctuary. I hope this exploration has inspired you to find your own meaningful ways to honor the ancient festival and the light that it brings into our lives. Remember, I have specific rituals and recipes on my website, Bertina.org. It's BERTENA.org. Just click on the blog and it should be near the top there. So if you enjoyed this episode, I'd love if you would subscribe to the podcast. I'm trying so hard to get this going. Share it with other people that you think would like it. Leave a comment, anything, because this support's going to help me keep this sanctuary a vibrant space for spiritual exploration. I really have some goals for 2025, and I am not a fan of social media all the time. It helps, but I feel like this podcast helps people more. So please share. Please come back and visit. Say hello. Let me know some of the ideas that you want me to talk about. I'm going to try to post this every Monday and then maybe one throughout the week if my daytime job isn't too crazy. But for now, until next time, may your path be illuminated with your heart. May your path be illuminated with joy. Wow, it's been a day. Your heart filled with renewal and your spirit inspired by the cycles of life. Celebrate Imbolc, be blessed, and may your spiritual journey always be filled with light and grace.